1500s, a small group of kings and nobles ruled the masses, with mostly their own interests in mind. The switching of kings and noblemen meant little to the masses, since the small minority at the top had all the power. Nowadays, we mostly build our societies on the principles of democracy. Democracy represents a lot of values and ideas. But if we for just one moment break down the elective process and break down the science of that, I would summarize it like this. If everyone votes for what benefits them and everyone's votes are equal, the decision of the states is the decision that benefits the most amount of people. For example, like voting on which restaurant to go to with your friends. If 5 of your friends want burgers and 2 of your friends want pizzas, burgers it is. The most fair way to make a decision of the 2 types of foods the friends could eat. But now remember that you eat every day. You and your friends will come back tomorrow, and once again you collectively decide to eat burgers. And so you do that again, and again, and again. The people who want pizza will never eat pizza until the majority swings and everyone will start to eat pizza. If the majority always decides, does that not mean the majority can exploit the minority, like the nobles did the peasants? Only the tables have turned on where the most people exists in this triangle. The short answer to this question, no. But let's keep going. This part of democracy is certainly not unknown. During Jim Crow in the USA, a lot of counties and states completely legally passed laws that actively discriminated against the black minority. What can the minority black people do? The majority rules, decides the laws. Now, let's go back to the start when I mentioned democracy. It came with a wheelbarrow of other things with it, except for the elective process. That is because anti-discrimination laws are a necessity if the democracy should work as intended. These are things that are written in stone and is meant to never be changed, because if infringed, that could lead to some nasty consequences. They need to be protected, because even if you are 51% of the population, do not have the right to make the rest of the lives in the population worse. For example, if a country is 60% non-religious and 40% religious, a slippery slope could lead to infringements on their practices or even outlawing the religious practices. Therefore, in the constitution of democratic countries, we can read the protection set up to stop this from happening. There are lists of grounds for unjust discrimination. These lists usually include gender, sex, ethnic background, religion, disability, and age. A parallel could be drawn to one of the description of a certain type of liberalism. You are free to do what you want, as long as it doesn't restrict the freedom of others. The majority of people are free to drive their agenda. The 60% non-religious people are free to stop subsidizing religious activities. They are free to increase the spending on science and so on. The majority is free to run the type of politics they want and help the majority as long as they don't push down. In Sweden, it is common to say that you lean left during your school years, when you receive dental, free school, food, and are subsidized for your studying in university. Then you go out in life, you go out to work, and you realize you now need to pay for the premiums you have gotten, and you start leaning to the right. As you get older, you retire and realize that the pensions are low and wonder how it could be like this. And once again, you start leaning left. The point of this video essay is to highlight a problem not much talked about. And these are the instances where the prosperity of the majority directly leads to the shortfall of the minority. Would you like the housing market to go up in value? Perhaps you even expect it to. Is it perhaps because you are part of the majority? Do you consider your home an investment, knowing that the value of homes historically increase more than inflation, making your home more and more valuable every year? Or perhaps you're part of the minority and seeing instead that they're not becoming more valuable, they are becoming more expensive in your eyes, making it harder each year for young people or low income classes to buy their home. Are you an entrepreneur and wondering why it is so complicated and regulated to start a business? Perhaps you are in the minority and the majority want hard regulations for the businesses because they want the quality of their goods. Would you like to not pay for universal healthcare? Are you part of a majority in the US who can already afford healthcare? Do you want a progressive taxation with the wealthy paying higher percentage of their incomes in taxes? Me too. We are part of the majority. Are you thinking why no one is doing anything to increase these pensions? Is this a problem facing the majority or the minority of people in society right now? Perhaps now when you're walking around in life and wondering why no politician is doing something about these problems you're experiencing, you can stop and think, am I in the majority or in the minority in this question?